And we're back on Southeast Texas Weekly, and we're still talking about this matter of the border. When it comes to the border, and when we think about Governor Rick Perry putting 1,000 National Guard troops on, well, that's finally the answer. Godfrey, correct? True? False?
They can't do anything. Posse Comitatus limits their abilities.
Does this even satisfy the Republicans' view that first protect the border and then we'll move on with other potential reforms in immigration? Does this even protect the border? Does that even start the process?
It's just a show to make Perry look good.
Well,
he started wearing those glasses to make himself look smarter. Then he opened his mouth and ruined the whole thing.
Hey, don't say that. Kevin and I are the only two people aren't wearing glasses here. I mean, we
It's
know
a
you
terrible
guys
thing
are
to say
smart.
about Jeff.
I can't see without glasses.
No, the deal with Governor Perry, number one, as he is the commander of the Texas National Guard. The National Guard falls under the governor, okay, except in time of crisis where it can actually fall under the president. The Army Reserve is always under the federal government. So the National Guard can be used for floods, hurricanes, and be put on the border. Now what it does do is, and a lot of this is optics, when you say we're going to put 100 troops, 1,000 troops on the border, if you're trying to slip somebody across, and these people actually have weapons,
but they can't fire at them.
Well, that becomes the question of whether they're able to
touch
really
them,
use the
Listen,
weaponry.
They can't touch them.
It's
nonsense.
No, what is nonsense is what happened 2 years ago when basically President Obama said, "Y'all come on down now."
That's not what he said.
No, I'm paraphrasing.
Obviously, it's a paraphrase, but
I'm
it's
paraphrasing,
very paraphrasing.
kind of like your nonsense. It's not nonsense because, and back when Reagan said and worked with the Democrats, says, "Here's what we're going to do on the border. We're going to give them amnesty," and they said, "Yeah," and we're going to put
Was
up
that
a
nonsense when Reagan did that?
No, what
Oh,
happened
okay, I was
was
just checking.
the Democrats said we're going to put up a fence. I'm guessing they hadn't got around to it. Now, since that time, we spent about $25 trillion, none of which has shown up of any degree to put up a fence. You know,
You build a 20-foot fence, they'll bring a 50-foot rope.
No,
What would
here's the
stop it?
thing.
Not if there's
You
1,000
tell
people guarding that road.
No,
If 1,000
this
National
is
Guard
just-
troops can't do it, what could do it? Because even, you could argue that even the Adjutant General, General Nichols of the Texas National Guard, has said, don't expect things to change overnight. That the border will not be, foolproof. Overnight at the U.S.-Mexico. There's 2,000 miles of border to watch and that kind of thing. So there's still going to be an immigration issue of some sort on the Texas-Mexico border for a long time to come. What is the answer? Is there if the Republican Party has solutions to the immigration problem, what are they?
If you really wanted to stop people from coming across the border, you could put up an electronic fence. We've had this at Area 51 since the 60s, okay?
I think I'm
You
being
can't walk.
filibustered here
You
today.
can't walk. Well, it's true.
Go for it.
I
Go for
was
it.
trying to answer the question for you, jumped in here, Godfrey.
Go ahead.
Okay, number one, and I don't speak for the Republican Party on this, but I think I expressed clearly before my views on this. Number one, does a border fence by itself work? No. You would need people to guard the fence, just like a castle would need people on the
Moat.
What about his
guarding,
question,
right?
though, of
But-
an e-fence, of an electronic
Okay, and
fence? What about that?
You need
Would
a
that work?
layered approach to dealing with the
Well,
border.
that's true.
Okay, but before we can deal with the problem with who's in the country illegally, we do have to stem the tide of what's going on. And the president has not taken leadership on that. Have the Republicans in Congress take leadership on that? No.
Let's give
Okay,
a
so
shot here.
you have
What
a
about 2,000
multi-clues
troops on the
process.
border? What about
Well, here's
2,000
what
National
we've
Guards?
got to do, as I said here a couple of weeks ago, President is supposed to, according to the Constitution, protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies. And what's that first word? Oh yeah, foreign,
And
which
domestic.
and domestic. Now let me finish.
These kids are
let me-
enemies. These kids, then they're enemies
No,
of the
they're
United States.
foreign.
But they're enemies.
No. Once again,
Well, how are they enemies? What are they
once
gonna do
again-
to us? They're
well,
not
if you'll-
terrorists.
Now, if you'll stop, I'll
Okay,
tell
go
you.
ahead.
Okay, they're foreign. They actually have some allegiance to a foreign government, not to the United
Those
States.
kids don't know what they came from.
Look,
They just know
now
it's bad.
you obviously, of all the 'em, 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 'em that border are not kids.
No, that's
They're
true.
not kids. Oh,
But
well,
these,
wait, whoa,
these
whoa,
kids
whoa.
that are down there are the ones that are raising hell
Do
over
you know
down
why they're coming over here? Because President
Because
Obama.
they're in
has-
living hell down there in their home countries.
Is it worse today?
It's probably better here than it is there.
It's
Granted.
always better here, Godfrey. Wake
Well,
up and smell the coffee.
I
The
don't
United States of
disagree.
America is a beacon of freedom, but we're not obligated to protect and pay for everybody else's citizens.
Well, would your answer, Godfrey, be this matter of going to the Central American countries and putting tens of millions into
My
their
answer would be
governments to
admit
stop
that
the criminal gangs?
We need
that
to
are
admit
causing
to
the
ourselves
issue?
that we need a certain amount of these people coming in the States, okay?
Based on what? Based on just
The
letting them
people
come.
I gotta
serving
go.
you at the
I got to
restaurants
run, my
around town.
friends. I
Hey, listen,
appreciate you being
before-
here.
Early
I gotta
voting
go. I gotta
starts
go. I gotta
Monday.
go. All right.
For,
Vote Democratic.
Brandon
And
Wait.
we'll see you next
Vote
time here on
Democratic.
Southeast
Make the
Texas
world a better
Weekly.
place.
Southeast Texas Weekly, brought to you by the Modern Vein Surgery Institute at Privity Clinic for Surgical Care.